Liquidity, where you find out how not to be fucking exit liquidity.
All right, episode 5 of this podcast, Exit Liquidity. I don't know if you noticed, actually, forgot to mention this, but I'm back on Riverside for this recording because the whole first half of the last podcast, I spent editing it and it all worked, and then it was just a black screen when it published. So
Damn.
I don't know if you noticed that. And then the part where you're sharing screen, the way like Zoom grabbed the camera angles, like completely messed it up. So we're back on here. This is much smoother, much easier. But I'm glad you didn't notice. I hope the viewers.
No, honestly, I didn't watch. I told you I don't watch these, so I didn't notice. I watched the clips you put up, but that's all I can really take, to be honest.
Yeah. But all right, another week in crypto. As an OG NFT people, let's talk about the Ordinals. What's your take on the Ordinals NFT play from the Bitcoin
surprised
side?
they became as polarizing as they did this quickly. Like, people either see it as like a 0-to-1 innovation, or they're like, this is fucking dumb. Like, why? I don't know. It seems like the argument. A lot of people hate it. Yeah. To me, it seems like the argument is either like it's Bitcoin's first like actual, I don't want to say use case, but it's the first thing that Bitcoin does that isn't just Bitcoin. The first thing that Bitcoin has ever done. And then the argument from like the ETH maxis seem to be like it's not feasible for there to be infrastructure to sustain this. If you want to inscribe a block, if you want to inscribe something on a block for the sake of doing so, like, that's awesome. By all means, go for it. But there's never going to be like trustless infrastructure to trade stuff like this or to do anything more with it than just own it.
You don't think that like technologically can be fleshed out, or what do you think?
I don't know. In my mind, the thing is, I don't know. It seems like a tenuous argument because it's not like OpenSea is like decentralized. I don't know. Are people holding this to a higher standard because it's Bitcoin, or what makes this different? Because I don't know. Obviously, a lot of people use Blur now. Like other marketplaces have gotten some sort of market share, but it's still all just like OpenSea. And like with some things being centralized, like I think I've talked about this before, maybe in this episode. I think with some things being centralized, it's like a temporary solution, like in favor of like efficiency or like scalability over centralization. So like having centralized sequencers, for example, that's just a trade-off we have to make for now. And like it's understood that it's not going to be that way forever. But the argument of having actually like decentralized trading for NFTs is not one you hear quite often. So I don't know. I think, like it could just be ETH maxis.
I don't know if I don't think people care. Like you said, like OpenSea is the biggest one. And the Bitcoin crowd, I feel like they really like the inscriptions part because I've seen a lot of people like I've tried to use that Ordinals like website. It's disgusting. It's terrible to use. I see it getting better. It's so bad. And I see it getting better, but I don't see, like you said, I don't know if I see the Bitcoin people caring enough to make it better. But I feel like most of the ETH people like it just because it's flooding and like clogging up the Bitcoin network. And just like a meme of, oh, you guys were shitting on us for having like useless JPEGs on our chain, and now you do too. Because from what I understand,
have you heard that before? Because I think you're the only person I've heard that from. I haven't looked into it too much outside of that. Like
what part?
The argument of ETH maxis like liking it because it's like flooding up the chain.
No, I don't think it like is gonna break Bitcoin, but I think because most of the people on that use Bitcoin, like they never liked, apparently, I wasn't like here to observe this myself, but apparently the sentiment was that attacks on Bitcoin have come from people using the chain other than sharing value from one wallet to the next. And that's where some of the forks came, and that's where some of the arguments over block size and stuff came, is like a safety mechanism. And so the way that Ordinals works is basically through like the founder. I was listening to what he was talking about, Casey something, and it's not supposed to happen. They say like it's tricking the Taproot code into doing something it's not supposed to. And so they use these, it basically just tracks the Satoshis or whatever and gives them like a label that is like trackable, almost like a NFT. And that really wasn't supposed to happen. And so I think that's why people from the Bitcoin community don't like it. And I think that's why people from Ethereum like it, is because it wasn't supposed to happen kind of thing. And someone found a way to make it happen. It's like a weird, I feel like coding nerds like that kind of stuff where like they trick the code or something like that. And so I think it's a meme of like actually clogging the chain, because people say that eventually when the halvings and all of those end, and whenever they end for Bitcoin, there's like security concerns of whether or not the security of the chain can be maintained, because there's not going to be much incentive to secure the transactions if no one's doing anything on the blockchain. Because at a certain point, they're going to be selling block space completely. If there's nothing happening on the blockchain, no one's going to take the time to secure it. And so the people on Sassel, I don't know how much truth there is to it, but that's like the sentiment from ETH heavy people, is that eventually when the halvings stop, then Bitcoin is not going to be a secure blockchain, because no one's going to be, apparently they're facing a security problem once those, I guess, incentives stop.
That's not like an argument that's new though, is it? Like I feel like I've heard that over the past couple months. Like just Bitcoin has that problem that's inevitable.
Yeah. But the meme is that with this, they make the use case that they've hated the whole time, kind of thing. If Ordinals come along, like they've hated this idea of NFTs on Ethereum, and now it might be the only thing that saves them in their long-term security plan, kind of thing. I think that's where the meme comes from.
I feel like I haven't heard a lot of those people in the past couple months, of the true like Bitcoin maxis, like the ones who, like the sailor types.
It's a bubble.
Yeah,
we're in our own like Ethereum bubble, I feel like.
Yeah, but I would hear more of them in the past. Maybe my like information diet has changed, but I would hear a lot more of them in the past, I feel like. And now it feels like the ones
like saying what specifically?
More, like, nuanced. Like just the ones who consider ETH like a shitcoin, and who think Bitcoin's like the best asset for storing value among all others. It's going to $1 million or whatever. It seems like there's less of those people around than there were in the past. And I thought something like this would make them like come out more, but it hasn't really, at least not on like my feed.
I feel like they don't know what to say.
Yeah, it's a weird spot to be.
They're like stuck.
Yeah.
But I do have you made any plays in on those like Ordinals things?
No.
Like the thing on Bitcoin specifically, but the ones that are like Ethereum based and like,
but I
will inscribe later.
Yeah, I totally fucking bought the top on one and lost 30% or something like that. But I don't know. In my mind, because it seems like a lot of those are either derivatives or they're like the dumbest shit I've seen is like the ordinal PUNKS, which like
the 100 count collection, or the one that literally copy pasted 10,000. Because the 100 punk one was the first one has been like getting.
The first one kind of makes more sense because the first one was a part of the first like X number of inscriptions, so it was like a historic thing. Actually, no, I guess it was more of the second one, which was like, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but it was like inscribed onto Bitcoin, wrapped, put on Ethereum, and then sold on OpenSea, so they can be like burned.
Beautiful.
And what? I don't understand. And like these things, like if you look at the price charts for some of these things, like some of the existing collections that were just like, hey, we're gonna let you burn and subscribe onto Bitcoin. Like it's literally just like flat charts with like maybe 5 sales in the past like 2 years, and then they announced this and it absolutely moves just like 200 X's for a day, and then it draws down another like 80-90% after that. Like I totally botched playing those. I remember seeing the first one too, the black hole one, whatever that was. Totally botched playing that. But
that one's been out for that
I don't
one.
want to. The black hole one. What was that one called? I forgot what it was called.
I'm not Orbit or something like that.
No, Celestial something. No, Celestial's the other one. I don't remember. It's been out for a while though. Or actually, no, maybe not that. Maybe not that one, but the other one's by the same.
Oh,
there's
On the
like
Edge
2
of
other
Oblivion.
collections by the same creator. On the Edge of Oblivion. It's 0.65 now. No, this one's new, but
Yeah,
there's 2 others. There's 2 others that were made by the same people that the chart still looks the same. It's completely like nothing, and then all of a sudden, Ordinals. Let's just add another 2 ETH to the floor. So I don't know. I don't really.
You don't like it? You don't like this?
I don't like it as like a trading, from like a trading perspective.
Do you think there's the room for infrastructure where pitched it at your own VC in
Yeah,
different
and if
an
there's
alternate universe?
if OpenSea exists, then yeah, why not? I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough about the infrastructure to say for sure or not, but maybe it's not feasible for there to be like actually like decentralized infrastructure for this one day. But I don't know. Is that even like on the
there
roadmap
is,
for
why
ETH?
not?
Like, are we ever going to even get there? It doesn't seem to be that important to the community. Or
Yeah.
to users, I guess.
I'm also curious at what the percentage of Bitcoin people, like those Bitcoin people you were talking about previously, like what percentage of those people actually enjoy NFTs? Because it seems like there's a few of them that would buy these things, but it also feels like everyone's just inscribing anything right now. Like people are just doing it to do it, whether or not people are buying these inscriptions. It seems because the inscription count just keeps flying up. Like I see those charts on Twitter. There's like thousands and thousands every single day, and the numbers just like multiplying. And so I think people are just inscribing for a joke or like on dreams. But I just want to know, I guess it would be interesting to see like volume. It's hard because volume for top, like the first 1,000 inscriptions is going to be stupid. Like we already know that's going to be dumb money, like not dumb money, but like a dumb amount of money buying those just because it's like the first 1,000. Like I get that, but outside of that, I'm be curious to see if Bitcoin people are like looking for gen art projects and like rotating from project to project, just like the same way it works on Ethereum. If you see that and you like a community flesh out, yeah, I could see Ordinals being a decent play.
Yeah.
Maybe we grab something off the first 1,000.
Dude, those
I
are
don't think
really
that's a
fucking
bad move at all.
expensive. Those are really
Oh, first
expensive.
1,000
I
are?
don't think there's a single. I don't think there's a single one under 1 Bitcoin.
Really?
They're yeah.
First 1,000? I know first 100 was going crazy, but first 1,000 too? Maybe we target first 10,000.
First 10,000. I don't know. What I think was really cool was watching how they were able to include more in each inscription from I remember when this thing when it very first started to get bigger, and at first they were just putting some like dog shit, like a couple of pixels like on chain, or describing a couple of pixels, and then they put I don't know if you saw, they put Doom in its inscription. You can go on like whatever the Ordinals website.
People have been playing Doom on Bitcoin for a while.
Really?
Yeah, the Bankless guy talks about it all the time. He's been talking about it for like weeks now. Like they've had that Doom shit set up on Bitcoin for a good while now. The guy who made Ordinals, there was another random person that before Ordinals technically went live as a usable thing, someone was already on there and used the like Ordinals code, I guess, to be able and mint the first thing. I'm pretty sure the first one minted is like a crypto dick butt. I don't know if you saw that.
No,
I thought that was funny. But yeah, Ordinals. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I think
it's
there
still,
might
it's
be
still,
something there, but it's still
I mean,
nascent. I didn't know how
I'm looking
nascent
at
it
Blur
was.
right
For
I'm looking at Blur right now, and there's still
is the 15-minute like showing a bunch of Ordinal shit?
a couple on there. Yeah, I just saw one that is actually like, it just launched. It's done 11 ETH in the past. Sorry, 18 ETH in the past 20 minutes in volume. I was wondering
really?
why. And it's because they're putting it on Ordinals. Series of 3D generative artwork, blah blah blah. Describing an asset that backs an NFT on the Bitcoin blockchain, something censorship resistance.
You want to share screen on that? You're gonna buy one? What's the floor?
Maybe it's the 0.25. Just because it's doing like good volume, like it just launched. It's 11 and 15 minutes.
Yeah, 18 and 20 minutes on a Sunday is pretty crazy.
And the art's, I don't know how I feel about the art, but it's Gen Art 0.25. What did this mint at? The weird thing is the Twitter only has 64 followers.
64 followers?
Yeah, I don't know. They're following Vitalik. It's kind of something, I guess.
Can you see any any of the transactions? Or is it all the same fucking wallet? Holy tabs.
Yeah. There's 72% unique owners. I guess that's kind of... Maybe I'll place a... Trying to fill it.
That's a good number.
0.2, 2.21, something like that. Maybe I won't get filled that low. I'll place an order.
We'll be back next week to...
Do I have anything in here? Yeah, we'll handle that off screen.
Yeah, Ordinals. We'll see how that plays out. I like them. I enjoy the Ethereum, and then we'll burn this and script this and that. I don't know. I think it could be cool. Next on the docket,
maybe.
Let's throw in some... We can transition from Ordinals NFT to a little tiny bit of NFTfi. We talk about it every week. But yeah, I think NFTfi is... Have you used BendDao before?
No. I'm not a huge fan of their.
Is there
their
a
UX.
significant difference?
Last time I took a look at it.
Are they
it was,
peer-to-peer?
No, they're peer to pool.
Oh, okay. Damn, they're doing a lot of volume. They have a decent percent of market share.
And those.
Let me share a screen here. Just run through this Dune thing.
I think that, or at least me personally, I'm convinced that the reason why BendDao has done so much better than, because I feel like actually I don't know which was launched, but I remember hearing about JPEG much sooner than really any NFTfi protocol. Actually, it was just, I don't know. Maybe it was because like Tetra and like his crew were backing it, but I just remember hearing about it a lot sooner than every other protocol. I mean, as far as I know, it works just fine, like for what it is. But I know that BendDao's didn't even have any fucking market share. What happened to them?
They're taking 50. They took 50% of the share just recently. They're blowing up.
Yeah, why are they doing so well now? Let's see what they're offering.
I don't know. Maybe we gotta check them out. BendDao. Let's see if we can get some more specific.
Kubo against
Am I spelling that wrong?
apes, punks, mutant apes, Azukis, moonbirds, doodles, space doodles, and clone X's. That's a pretty for peer to pool. It's a pretty but for peer to pool, that's a pretty respectable.
But why are they
subset,
going?
I feel like.
Why are they going? Why are people going BendDao peer to pool over JPEG peer to pool?
That's what nobody's going to JPEG. It seems. That's what I'm wondering. People
Literally nobody. But the borrowing cost is like 5%
for JPEG?
versus like the average for
I remember
it's not much
last time I checked, JPEG had punks, and I think they had what were those like rocks that was a little bit before my time, but they were like rocks. Do you know what I'm talking about? The rock NFTs.
Ether rocks or something.
Ether rocks.
I'm pretty sure someone did those on.
Yeah, someone did those on Ordinals.
on Ordinals.
No,
See, the thing with
JPEG has a lot of.
The thing with JPEGs is they use their like own basically stablecoin, but you can borrow an ETH too. But it's like JPEGD ETH, I guess. Maybe that's what's causing people not to.
What was the chart you were looking at on Dune? What was that? Like, was that number of borrowers? Was that what share was?
This was lending market share.
So is this like daily volume or like TBL? Because BendDao has, not BendDao, JPEG has apparently almost 30 mil in TBL, according to their website. I don't know. I also remember I tried farming on JPEG once way back when, and I couldn't do it.
I have a bit of JPEG.
I couldn't swap PUSD for whatever reason. I don't remember why, but I just wasn't able to.
Here's borrow volume. JPEG has literally 0%.
That can't be
between
right.
0 and 1%.
Really?
Of borrow volume. I don't know what the stat is for normalized. Borrow volume, USD weekly borrow platform. Yeah. BendDao is just eating away. I don't know why.
I know BendDao, I don't know if you would call it BD, but I know they work with some like larger borrowers to onboard them better.
Do they allow for, do you just borrow straight ETH? Or do they have their own thing, PETH?
BendDao?
Yeah. Cumulative BendDao users.
Oh, this is why they're offering rewards and their Bend token. So if you buy, you can borrow at 22%, but you're going to be earning 50% in Bend tokens for doing so. So technically, it's profitable to borrow. But the Bend token.
Okay, I see.
I don't know anything about these tokenomics, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
They've only had one.
It's up 14%
NFT
today.
liquidated.
Shit. Damn, what? Ben? What? Who's Ben token?
When was that launched? 10x?
Last summer. It's 10x since January, or since December. Like early December. Wow. I guess this is, maybe this is like an NFTfi narrative that people have no other way to play, so it just all goes into the Ben token. Holy shit, their FDV is ridiculous. There's 5% of the tokens in the floating supply right now. Everything else is yet to be circulated.
What is their FDV?
Read about this one. 330 mil. They're floating right now with 16 mil, 16, 17. Damn. How has no one been talking about this? That's surprising.
Dude, they've done 1.5 million in borrows just today.
Why would you not be borrowing, honestly, if you have
That is true.
apes, punks, Azukis, moonbirds, doodles, clonexes, whatever? You could easily...
Yeah, the borrow volume is like way more significant than the repay volume. I guess this all comes back on certain term dates, but...
Yeah, I wonder what kind of LTV you can get here.
9,000 cumulative users. Oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting. NFTfi only
this
had
should be bigger
316 borrow volume. Yeah, this really should. 1.5 million, and the second best is like 300K in borrow volume. Yeah, it's incentivized. How much more incentivization could they do? 100K for arcade, 10 for drops. JPEG cumulative borrow is 5 point. They don't have the today borrow volume. They got 5.7 on cumulative.
Why the fuck would anybody be borrowing on J if this exists? Like, just borrow on BendDao, dump your tokens as you get them, and you're literally getting paid to borrow. It's like Anchor. There was a time when it was profitable to borrow on Anchor.
I'm sure they would love that comparison. No, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, we should
I wonder what the tokenomics look like.
Like a Clonex or something, whatever the cheapest like tokenism, just borrow. It's just print money until the token starts to go down. But in theory, you just print money.
But they're pretty early. Because if everyone just mimics that and everyone just starts borrowing, you could dump before it all explodes.
Yeah.
How sustainable do you think
for
something like that is after comparing it to
mean,
Anchor? Let's glance at the tokenomics real quick.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to. It would be good to know like what their emissions look like for this.
Is it BendDao or BendDao?
BendDao.
Is it 2Ds?
BendDao.
Oh, it's 2Ds.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
BendDao is a different. There's a BendDao and there's also
There's the
a
Bend specific DAO. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a glance.
Oh, yeah, and there's a vote escrow Bend also where you earn protocol revenue. Damn, BendDao might be doing something.
Where's like docs out here? This is surprising. Look at us. We're giving the people alpha here. We're like 10x late.
But I mean, it's still there. Like, still borrow some shit off of it. I guess. Do you have to like? If you're borrowing, you can pay it off any time. It's not like you have to.
Same interest model as Aave's token. You can. Where's their tokenomics? BendDonomics. I fucking hate that. Borrow lend incentive 40%. Treasury 21. What the fuck is an IFO?
Initial
Airdrop.
initial fair launch offering. Wait, look at that chart. Look at that graph down there. LP incentive is green.
14th month lock.
Initial fair launch offering. Is that here? What's the Uniswap LP incentive, not actual LP incentive. When borrow incentive vested when mainnet online. Linearly released
in 5 years.
Man, all right, maybe don't go and borrow against your PUNKS or whatever.
Why not?
5
years?
Your rewards are going to be vested for 5 years. Jesus Christ.
Oh wait, that's the lockup for people that are borrowing, or is this how long they're going to be able to keep this going?
So it means that whatever the 50% that they're paying out in Bend tokens, it takes a year or 5 years for all of those to unlock. So yeah, I don't know.
48.
I guess it's good
to encourage lenders and borrowers providing liquidity. 40%. Investing linearly across 5 years. You're right. That's good for them. It doesn't they don't immediately die after everyone just fucking borrows on everything and dumps their token.
Yeah, but it's a shame. I thought we'd found some alpha, but I guess we haven't. But
the
one thing, yeah.
What are you voting on? You can vote on all of the.
You're getting protocol income. You could vote on what gets whitelisted, what LTV ratios are. Let me grab a tissue real quick. I guess what this does do is that it bodes well for like future NFTfi tokens. I think like 330, which is over a quarter bill FTV for a protocol that's dumping tokens to its
users. I'm telling you, man, that NFT.
Do you think that's a bad valuation?
It's fully diluted. It's hard to say. It's especially if you have users locking up or vote escrowing their Bend, or if you have a lot of those rewards locked up for 5 years. It's hard to say.
But 330 mil, yeah, that's a terrible valuation. How much volume are these guys doing that they deserve a quarter mil valuation?
They did one and a half in borrows today.
What's Uniswap's valuation? Uniswap is
no, compared to Aave at least.
Okay, but compare the amount of Okay, fine, Aave, sure. Either way, compare the amount of volume that Aave does to their market cap versus the amount of volume that BendDao does to their market cap. I guarantee you that there's a pretty big discrepancy there. Aave has about $1 billion more in market cap than BendDao. So about 5x. Is Aave doing 5x the volume that BendDao is? I would be very surprised if it was near that. Let's see. I mean, it's also, I don't know, maybe that's a shitty comparison. Because Aave has
No, they're doing like
12 different markets.
Deposits and outstanding loans, Aave V2. Today's the 12th. But yesterday they did 65 million deposited.
I have to connect my wallet to see Aave's dashboard. What kind of garbage ass UX is this? Oh, this is not like a data dashboard. This is like my dashboard. That's why. I don't know. My point being that BendDao doesn't do a lot of volume. Like, no NFTfi protocol does for that. I guess they are now. Maybe not a lot, but they're capturing share now because they're.
But if you think if they can keep this, what do you say the percentage of incentive was? How much you get paid to borrow?
50% APR. Like 49.
I mean, if you can get that for over 5 years, and you plan on holding your CryptoPunk for 5 years, and but
what are you?
I mean, it being sustainable.
Like seeing what being sustainable.
Like the incentive timeline, them being able to keep this up and just grow the.
I don't think you're really. It's
volume.
not just that you're. It's not just that you're betting on the asset that you're borrowing against maintaining its value. You're also betting on BendDao being a winner or even close to a winner in the NFTfi space, which is so early to tell that. I think. I guess they're not the worst. They're not at all the worst team or the worst project to bet on.
They're definitely in. They're definitely in the lead. And
how many projects would you be comfortable betting on a 5-year timeline in any like niche, not just NFTfi? Like, it's a tough thing to do.
Less than 5.
Yeah. And also,
but no,
it's not like there's.
You get like a little snack whenever how they unlock linearly. Oh my god, linearly. You get like a little. You get to skimp a little bit off of it. I feel like it keeps people at least interested in maybe not the whole 5 years, but maybe people rotated in and out, borrowing. I wonder what the incentivization is for lending ETH.
I don't think they're giving tokens for that. That would be if that were the case, then people would be.
No, they're giving only 4.5%, 5 in ETH and 4.5 in BendDao.
Oh, okay. That's not crazy then. 10%.
They have 91,000 ETH in reserves.
Damn. Use liquid.
It's a shit ton.
Wonder how Spice is doing now with their rates.
I don't think that's the worst tokenomic mechanism that they could have done. I'm not really mad at it.
No, they're getting volume. They're doing a damn good job.
It seems like it's working.
I don't think it's bad at all. Yeah. I just wonder how that's going to perform as NFTfi is a competitive space. It's nobody's game to lose yet. Nobody really has it figured out by any means. So it's a tough one.
There's 18,000 ETH in JPEGD in comparison since they're both peer-to-pool. I don't get why is JPEG not incentivizing with their JPEG token?
JPEG is, I don't know. Based off of them doing no volume today, JPEG is as good as dead at this point, maybe even.
Oh no, I wouldn't put them as good as dead. I think they have a chance.
I saw this. So this is like totally unrelated, but I saw this protocol on the influencer tool. It's like you can lock up your staked ETH for X amount of days, and you just get the ETH in advance immediately. Yeah,
yeah.
It's pretty
I
useful,
saw that
actually.
on Twitter.
I've seen a lot of. I feel like we've seen a lot. You want to explain
how that would work?
Pretty straightforward.
Because I feel like if everyone does that, and rates don't stay where the protocol wants them to be, isn't there a way that
that's a good point.
Lose out? Because rates are not going to stay the same, so you have to really undershoot them. Because it all depends on like validators and shit, right?
Yeah.
Like how
many rates
are their ETH.
that. I don't think rates are that volatile, are they? It's not like they change significantly day to day, week to week.
No, but I think there's a lot of, I don't know, I didn't really look into this protocol enough, but I don't know, are they live? They're not live yet, are they?
No, they're not live.
Yeah.
They're live
But like
in 3 days.
In 3 days. See, I don't know if I would launch like withdrawals, because that's when withdrawals are not going to be like everyone withdraws at once. There's going to be a queue or whatever, so it's not going to be a crazy change. But I feel like I would wait and see what withdrawals look like before launching something like that and seeing how rates change, because I feel like we don't know how much rates are going to actually change.
So you lock up your stake ETH. If stake ETH is minted and swapped for your stake ETH, you get your rewards right up front. When you receive your stake ETH upfront yield, you give up the rights to your future yield. Those rights are transferred to the F stake ETH holders because they're the counterparty taking the risk to reward of interest rate volatility. So does that mean this is a way?
So you gotta this also has to be insanely liquid for.
This is a way
because
to
it's kind of like.
This is a way to
speculate on what?
On interest rates. A way to speculate on like the stake rate of Ethereum. Because you can, if you think it's going to go down, you can just take your upfront rewards and be fine with it, and you'll make more than you can lock in a certain rate at a given day, essentially. If you think it's going to go up, you can.
What's the protocol called?
F stake ETH. Lido. F Lido.
Oh,
it's at F LidoFi on Twitter.
F Lido.
Yeah. In addition to trading fees, LPs are additional liquidity buying rewards, Flash, blah blah blah.
Wait, am I looking at the right thing? This is a
F Lido Fi on Twitter. Upfront yield on stake ETH. They only have 350 followers. Oh, there's also Flash stake. Running up to 2 years more. Why is that the only account they're following?
15% APY?
Competitor. Wait, yeah, what the fuck? Why would you not just lock that
15% APY does not make sense.
How do they do that sustainably?
They're doing some other shit. There's no way they're just staking with Lido and giving you 15% up front. What? How much liquidity is going to come with it? For first users. Lido is powered by combining the liquid staking powers of Lido with instant upfront yields. Abilities of the Flash stake protocol. These guys are already doing it. Claim up to 2 years worth of yield today. Created by Block Zero.
A portion of your upfront yield. What? How are they setting this at 15%?
Oh, they're using trading fees. So every time you trade your ETH for FST ETH, the holders of FST ETH get the trading fees.
But how are they funding how are they setting it at 15%? From day one, they can't.
I think they're expecting a bunch of people to trade from FST ETH to ST ETH.
So they're funding alleged upfront staking.
I don't know how they're doing that up front. I can't answer that question. Some fund or some angel. I don't know why you would take that deal. So one of the devs tweeted, "Give me a loan for 15% and I'll pay you 3.75% monthly, zero risk."
Yeah, I saw that tweet. Didn't really get the joke he was trying to make.
Yeah, I don't get it. In addition to trading fees, LPs are eligible for additional liquidity mining rewards in the form of Flash. Good luck to them. I don't see that happening, but if we open up the website and you can actually take 15% up front, I don't see why that would be a bad idea. 90 days, too.
Your ETH is a lot. I guess you can pay it off immediately, but I wouldn't. If I'm paying it off at 15%.
Interesting.
Maybe.
DeFi.
I don't know.
There's DeFi for innovation.
Yeah. I don't know. DeFi's been innovating, just not, I don't know, not enough. Really.
We should bring in
There's
more
been a
DeFi.
lot of like incremental. There's been a lot of incremental innovations, I think, but none.
Anything you
DeFi's
wanna? Anything you're proud about? Being an ex DeFi guy.
I don't really touch DeFi anymore, to be honest. But
That's what I'm saying. I haven't even seen much of this innovation you speak of.
it's been like incremental shit. There was some protocol in Solana where they found a way to be really capital efficient. I don't remember how exactly, but they were doing like
Yeah, I see that.
volume
There are
with
some
very little TVL. It's just been like
some
little
innovations in
changes,
capital efficiency. Yeah, I've seen those.
which is like
I
important.
also don't know how those work, but yeah, they are significant.
GMX redacted, all these real yield things. What else? Let's go to DeFi Llama. You got the Maker RWA stuff. I don't really want to call that a win just yet, but you got that. You got Frax. Frax ships like a motherfucker.
Oh, speaking of staking, did you see the whole? I know you don't like to get into regulation, but did you read that like choke point article? I forgot to send that.
I heard the news about like Kraken staking. Kraken like not offering staking anymore or something like that.
Yeah. The TLDR is basically that in 2012, the Obama administration basically convinced banks just by sending memos to not allow online poker to be banked. And so there's inklings that they're doing the same thing with crypto. They've been sending out these memos basically saying crypto is not a safe and sound like way to bank, and you're in pulling this kind of risk into other assets that you shouldn't be doing. They didn't take it to Congress and ban it, but they've just been like sending out these memos. And a lot of it's like that choke point of the on and off ramp between crypto and banks. And the part I'm curious about is not your take on the regulation, but maybe we see some kind of innovation in the on and off ramp part of things. I feel like that's more useful to focus on. I'm curious what you think about that area of crypto.
On and off ramps.
Yeah. Do you think there's a chance that you stay here if you have to like go on some forum and meet up with some guy to get cash for your Ethereum? Because that's if the on and off ramps die and like they get killed through this choke point thing. That's what people are kind of disgusting. They go back to
as a whole.
You think so?
Not as a whole, but like by and large, like a lot of the activity just ceases.
The U.S. thing. It's a U.S. thing. So if
fuck, I didn't mute.
Bless you.
Okay, sorry, go ahead. Thank you.
If it dies in the U.S., right, the on and off ramps, do you think there's hope? You're an international focused guy. I feel like you have less to worry about.
Maybe. I'm still a U.S. citizen, but
Very true.
I think no matter what, it's a long and tough road to recovery if something like that happens. Like, there's not a lot that, I don't know. I think that it's obvious crypto isn't like an overly like American thing. Like, it's not like there's a larger subset of users in America than anywhere else, but it's still like America. Like, it still dictates the direction and future of this stuff.
Because some people were mentioning the fact that like small projects and like it was already hard for them to get any kind of banking, and now it's going to be even harder. So like people in the VC space were talking of like how hard and how much that kind of limits them. And I feel like everyone in the VC space just gets like USDC sent to their address. And yeah, like on and off ramp for that is going to suck.
Not a lot of them are domiciled in the US though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You think it's like an overrated worry? Or do you think it's something serious?
No.
What's your
I
take?
don't know. Shit like this always moves slow. I think on and off ramps in their current state obviously won't or shouldn't exist the way they do years from now. But it is what it is. They have to shitty, but like we have to use them obviously. I think there's an argument to be made that if there's an effort to stifle them in their current state in the U.S. That could hurry along other solutions that are more compliant or like kind of circumvent that in some way, maybe. I don't know. So it's either like enough economies live on chain that on and off ramps don't matter that much. If we have really good payment rails, why would you need to be off ramping super often? Or we have like smooth enough ramps to the point where economies don't need to live on chain to that extent.
Yeah, I think that's
and either
that's
one is feasible. I think regardless of what happens, like in the U.S.
I think people forgot about the payment rails once UST died, and like I remember people were talking about UST being accepted in like on like credit card machines or whatever.
The Alice card, I remember that.
Yeah, and I think that idea or sentiment, or I haven't seen much of that recently, but that's a good point. If they can flush out the payment rails and I can walk into whatever store and just use my mobile wallet to buy something, then yeah, the on and off ramps become less useful.
I haven't seen too many outstanding payment solutions, to be honest. There's better solutions out there that are building, but none of them have like blown me away.
Have you witnessed anyone in Argentina? Don't they use Bitcoin a bit? Have you seen that in action?
I mean, I haven't seen it personally, but I've heard of it. Not in Argentina, but it's like I've heard like a friend of a friend, like one of those type of situations where it's not like people buying like groceries with Bitcoin. It's more so like larger purchases because
jewelry, cars.
Why would they buy? Yeah. Why would they buy that stuff in pesos when it's going to be down 10% in 2 weeks? So it's there, but it's not like the infrastructure's there. It's more so that the need is there so that, and like anyone can transact Bitcoin or anyone can transact most crypto. So that's what makes it feasible. It's just like handshake agreements.
Yeah. And last but not least, I just want to throw the ZK narrative in the air. Me personally, I spent some time this week hearing about like ZKsync, and because they seem like the most far along. I like just off logos and name, I don't like ZkSync. I like Scroll because I think their logo and name is cooler. In terms of like the ZkEVM umbrella, I'd put Scroll previously as like the one I thought was the coolest one, and then ZkSync, and then whatever Polygon is doing it starts with an H, but I forget what it is. But I listened to a bit about ZkSync and what they were doing, and they seem to be coming up with something pretty cool. I don't know if a lot of people, I feel like not many people listen to their talk, but this dude was talking he was talking layer 3s too. He's we've been talking to like huge brands and like they've been hiring crypto teams and like they're well versed in the space and they know that Ethereum is like the one that they're going to choose as their quote unquote layer 3 like app chain, enterprise chain place. And they're launching with like 150 projects, 160 projects, protocols ready to go. And they have said they have a bunch in stealth that are going to launch on ZkSync and then maybe add other chains. But I thought their ethos is a lot better than I thought it was from the beginning. So I was curious what your ZkEVM take is.
Do you think it's worth?
I think it is.
I didn't think
worth what? Like the time?
Do you think it's worth trying to evaluate those? Like, given that the tech is still so early and doesn't work, and obviously there's all these different ideas as to how to implement it, and what to prioritize throughout that process. There's still, and just because we can't properly look at that stuff and come to a reasonable conclusion, is it worth looking at like brand, like BD, the stuff that we can like analyze? Is it even worth doing that? Are we going to get anything from that? I would say there is if there's something to like speculate on there, but there's not really yet. I guess unless you want to weight your attention in one direction or not. But even then, it's like why? Like why try and pick a winner this early in my mind? Like I've actually heard that Polygon or Mez is like the farthest along by quite a decent margin. Like they should be on mainnet within the next 3 to 4 months.
Yeah,
but like
they're not. The reason I like ZkSync, and I think it's because, or from this talk, what I liked about this talk, I haven't, like you said, I haven't picked a winner necessarily. I'm more focused on the narrative itself because it seems like they're all trying to become. I mean, there was like, what, 4 months ago when they were all declaring that they were the first on testnet. Like, they're going to do the same thing all over again. And then, but when it comes to launch, it's going to be, I think, quite bigger. And I think the target is ETH Denver. And I think it's ETH Denver for a lot of them, which is at the end of this month. And
yeah, ETH Denver soon.
I feel like it could be a significant narrative trade. I think I've seen a few people already talking about it on Twitter. And last time we saw people talking about AI on Twitter. We saw people talking about LSDs on Twitter. We saw people talking about what else? I mean, we watched GNS right in front of our face when it was like quite obvious. And I don't think it's about picking winners. I think it's like riding the narrative. And I think ETH Denver, the ZK narrative forms, and I think it's a lot more long-lasting than these other narratives.
My point is that like what we can do with regards to those narratives for this one specifically is completely different. It's not like we can go and buy a ZK token and get specific exposure to that ecosystem or to Scroll or Aztec or whatever. It's unless the ones that do have tokens are like not the ones that people generally see as winners or talk about. Mina, or like there's not many. I can't name Mina. Polygon, I guess. Polygon's always a good buy though. I'm a Polygon. I'm a pretty big Polygon bull.
They have Loop
from
Ring.
A token perspective.
You have Loop Ring.
Loop Ring, you got Loops. Yeah, when was the last fucking time you heard about Loop? It's been going on with that. But my point is for all the ones that are going to be, for all the big names, I think, and all the ones that are going to be leaders in a proper like ZK run, there's nothing we can do right now besides try out the
cliche of
airdrop
and
do whatever to get. Yeah, but there's no way to scale to your exposure there. Like unless you want to go and run a validator on ZkSync or something like that, like then, by all means, try and figure out which one is the best to go do that on. But we're not those people. Most people aren't like that. So, I don't know. To me, it's not worth
like
it
not
yet,
much. There's nowhere for us to speculate.
Yeah.
Yeah. But who knows? I feel like finding out some of the aspects of each one before they announce their token makes it easier to evaluate when they do, or even figuring out which one's the most secure and like deploying liquidity there whenever these apps start incentivizing it. I feel like maybe those are the places to do that we could target. They are launching with 150 apps, and they're making it completely open source. They're getting like multiple layers of audits. Like, just the way this guy was talking about it, I felt like it was the arbitrum of the optimistic ones. Optimistic rollups. Whereas, because like Starkware, it seems like they're not going to get anywhere because they're not EVM compatible. Like that something like Starkware or like Fuel seems like way far out because EVM seems like the only thing that people and developers to move quickly to. But I think ZkEVM specifically is a play that we can get into sooner rather than later. I'm just going to keep an eye on ETH Denver. I think that's like my next step is.
Yeah.
And see what happens there. And then, who knows, and maybe Matic is worth picking up pre that. They're probably going to announce. I don't know. I don't like Matic. I'm going to be honest. I don't. I think the whole BD shtick. I think the whole BD stick like only takes you so far. I feel like they're trying like the whole like being like the Google or like the Facebook of the industry where they do so many different things and like they put so much money into so many different aspects of it. It's like I'd rather place my bet on someone. If I could put a token, like if the tokens were out, I'd bet on ZKsync way before I bet on the Hermesh. I put Scroll before that too because it's just like focusing on one thing I feel like works out more than trying to do a million different things. Because also I do remember, maybe this was just FUD that I was eating up, but people talking about the like Matic chain like maxing out during the last bull run.
Yeah, the actual like from I guess
they
from
were
a
like
tech perspective,
clogging up. Like it's not that good. I think.
I don't know.
I don't like it.
I don't think that Matic is like a good chain or like a winner in any regard from a tech or like usability perspective. I just think it's a good buy most of the time. Like I was talking to.
I think the BD. A lot of the BD is like hot air. I'm gonna be honest.
I think that a lot of people there don't even realize like what their success is attributed to. Like I was talking to someone who's like pretty high up there, and I was asking him how do you guys do it? How do you just pump out partnership after partnership after with just titans in like the real world? And he's I think it's a combination of having a strong product team and having the best resources from a tech perspective. And I'm like, yeah, that's like totally not true though. You know that, right?
It's not true at all.
And he's like, oh yeah, I don't know. And it's like, what kind of an answer is that, dude? You're the head of something at Matic, and like you barely even know what's going on. Are they just falling upwards? I don't know, but all I know is that I've made.
Wait, is it Polygon? Is it Polygon or Optimism that has that Reddit NFT thing?
Polygon, I think.
Yeah, like that to me is like bullshit. Having a trillion people mint a free NFT and just do nothing with it doesn't mean anything. I see so many. There's one dev that works at Polygon that flexes that on like his Twitter like every single day because there was like a Super Bowl specific NFT from Reddit. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but and I'm sure when that BD deal came along, I don't remember exactly when that came along, but I'm sure it pumped the token like God knows how much percent. And that just seems like hot air to me. Like it just seems like really not much. I'm not a Polygon fan. I will stick by it. But whether or not they announce some cool shit for ZK and it pumps the market and pumps their token is a whole different story.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. I
think we keep an eye on ZK.
A lot of money, so I'm happy with it.
Were you part of the Polygon yield farming movement?
No,
summer?
I've used the chain. Actually, I've used the chain twice. Once was right after FTX when I wanted to move everything on chain. I had stake bids set on Polygon. I pretty much always have stake bids set on Polygon, but I had them on Binance and I wanted to move them on chain. So I used QuickSwap for that, and I've also used Polygon for this Trump NFT, which I guess I've used Polygon technically. I've used OpenSea, so it's not like I did anything too crazy. But no, I wasn't a part of all that stuff.
Yeah, ZKs. I'm also sad that I missed the bear chain pump. That one really hurt. They're probably back down by now, but
I've been hearing a lot about Gumball Protocol. Apparently it's like unconfirmed. They're on Arbitrum right now. Apparently it's like unconfirmed that they're going to be launching on Berachain, like one of the first NFT platforms. It's like an NFT liquidity kind of platform. Apparently they're going to be launching on Berachain, and they have 3 like kind of test collections on there, none of which have minted out yet. So that's like a decent way to get exposure there. I looked into it and I wasn't a huge fan of the web apps, so I don't know.
All right. I think that wraps it up for episode 5. Yeah. Good episode. I will edit this out probably for Monday.
All right.